Everyone has been told the same sentence since childhood. If you work hard, you'll be rewarded. If you're disciplined, you'll rise. If you're patient, you'll become rich. But history has a small problem. The hardest working generations in human history were almost never the richest generations. This is not an opinion. This is a record. Archaeological records, tax records, land deeds, wealth lists, inheritance ledgers. And in this video, we will explain why work alone does not produce wealth. Not through romantic stories, but through financial mechanisms. Because this is not about motivation. It's not about morality. It's not about wanting it more. The issue is the system, and who it is designed to work for. 1. Income and wealth, the most misunderstood distinction in economics. The biggest conceptual mistake modern societies make is this. They treat income and wealth as the same thing. In economics, however, these two barely belong in the same sentence. Income is a flow. It is time-dependent, labor-dependent, vulnerable to interruption. Wealth is a stock. It works through time. It feeds on the past. It purchases the future. This distinction was first clearly articulated by Irving Fisher and later by Franco Modigliani, and it revealed a simple truth. Income keeps you alive. Wealth removes you from the game. That's why someone with a very high monthly income, when they lose their job, doesn't realize they lost status. They realize they never had wealth. Meanwhile, someone with modest income but a home, shares, land, survives crises, survives inflation, sometimes even emerges richer. Because the real question is not, how much do you earn? The real question is, does your money work for you or do you work for your money? 2. The biological and mathematical ceiling of labor returns. Neoclassical economics places labor inside the production function. But there is a small detail. Labor is not infinite. A human being cannot work more than 24 hours a day, cannot be in two places at once, experiences mental and physical fatigue, loses productivity with age. This is not sociology. This is physiology. Even Gary Becker's human capital theory accepts one thing: the return on education and experience eventually diminishes. Meaning, more work is not equal to more income. Capital, however, has no such ceiling. A machine works 24 hours, serves thousands simultaneously, becomes cheaper as it scales, and the most critical difference, it compounds. Often attributed to Einstein but clearly defined in finance, the reality is this. Compound returns, combined with time, mathematically overpower labor. That's why labor grows linearly, capital grows exponentially, and that difference turns one generation into the middle class, and another into a dynasty. 3. The historical record: workers were never at the top. If work created wealth, the richest class in history would have been the hardest working class. But the data says the opposite. In ancient Rome, peasants produced. Latifundia owners accumulated wealth. As the Roman historian Pliny wrote, Rome was ruled not by slaves, but by landowners. In the Middle Ages, serfs worked the land, landed. Aristocracy grew rich through inheritance. During the Industrial Revolution, workers labored 12 to 14 hours. Capital accumulation concentrated among owners. Today, workers generate data. Platforms own the data. This is not an exception. It is a pattern. Because those who produce and those who own the production were almost never the same group. 4. The Industrial Revolution. When hope was sold but ownership didn't change. The Industrial Revolution sold people one promise. This time is different. Yes, productivity increased. Yes, wages rose nominally, but Piketty and Kuznets data show this. The share of the total pie was distributed according to ownership. The worker sold time, received wages, consumed, went into debt. The owner financed machines, scaled production, lowered costs, made capital permanent. At this point, work stopped being the key to wealth and became the fuel of the system. 5. Baumol's cost disease. Why society's most valuable jobs stay poor. When William Baumol introduced his theory, no one took it seriously. Today, we are living it. Some jobs cannot be automated, cannot be scaled, cannot generate productivity gains. Teaching, nursing, care work, psychology are tickle. These jobs are essential to society, but economically they do not generate wealth, because work without productivity growth does not attract capital. As a result, those who keep society functioning cannot rise within the system. This is not a moral judgment, it is a structural outcome. 6. R greater than G, the mathematical engine of inequality. Thomas Piketty's formula is simple: R greater than G, but its consequences are devastating. If returns on capital exceed economic growth, then wealth grows faster than labor income. That's why even when the economy grows, the middle class gets squeezed. This is not ideology, it is centuries of data. 7. Financial repression, the quietest wealth transfer. The work of Reinhardt and Rogoff shows one thing clearly: states reduce debt, most effectively through inflation. But they don't do it openly. Low interest rates, high but controlled inflation. The result? Wage earners lose, cash erodes, debtors win, asset prices inflate. This is the modern world's quietest wealth transfer. 8. The hidden preference in tax architecture. Tax systems are not neutral. In most countries, labor income is heavily taxed. Capital gains are favored. The reason is simple: labor cannot escape. Capital can, so the system slows the worker and accelerates the owner. 9. Debt, the seizure of time. Debt is not just money. Debt is future time. Someone in debt cannot take risks, cannot invest, cannot walk away. An asset owner, by contrast, buys time. Wealth is not about who works harder, but about who controls time. 10. Why the work hard myth survives. Because this myth prevents systemic questioning, individualizes inequality, shifts blame from structure to people, and people who blame themselves do not rebel. 11. Conclusion. Work is fuel, wealth is ownership. Work is necessary, but it does not create wealth. Wealth is created through ownership, time, compounding mechanisms. This is not a moral issue. This is not a laziness issue. This is a design issue. And those who understand the design see why the game is played this way. This does not mean we should stop working. It means we need to redefine what we are working for. If this perspective opened a new window for you, follow the hidden pages of financial history.